Namaste, everybody. It's the Queen Incarnate, the Savage Beauty, the International Face Kicker Sahara 7, and you're watching O Face Wrestling Podcast.
This is the Cannibal Savannah Evans, and you're tuning into the O Face Wrestling Podcast.
That's right. Oh, Face Wrestling. Listen to the podcast. Listen. They are Dark Side approved. Holiday approves it. Oh, Face Wrestling. I'll be listening. Will you?
Hi, I'm MCW Women's Champion Gia Scott, and you're watching O Face Wrestling.
Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in to O Face Wrestling. This is your host JT, and today I am joined by Gabby Ortiz. Thanks for joining us today, Gabby.
Hi, thanks for having me.
No problem at all. So, Gabby, I discovered you in July at the Titan Championship Wrestling, the Goddesses of War event, and I've learned a lot about you since then, and I want to learn more about you. So, got a few questions. So, if you're ready, let's go. So the first question is I ask everyone, but I get a different answer, so I continue to ask them. So in general, like, what got you into being a professional wrestler?
It was really my dad and my brother. They're both huge fans growing up, so I wanted to be cool like them, so I became a fan. And then as I got older, I sort of stopped watching and I got into other things. But then around 19 years old, I started rewatching it again and getting back into it and seeing what it was like now or then. It was like 6 years ago now. And I realized that I wanted to do it. I was like, oh, okay. Like I kind of stopped doing what I was like doing, like music and theater, and I wasn't doing that anymore and I needed an outlet. And I realized professional wrestling would be a really awesome outlet.
Yeah, it is. One of the recordings that I did like a month ago with Matthew Palmer, he had mentioned that he was in the theater too, and a lot of people kind of relate the two, because when you're wrestling, it's not just wrestling, you're like telling a story, you're portraying a character, so it all actually relates. And it's definitely something beneficial that can help any wrestler, and something I didn't really think of too until I interviewed him. I was like, that makes sense. So my next question I have for you, so I'm assuming that your match versus Holiday at the Goddesses of War event, I'm assuming that's your first one since the pandemic started. So how did it feel getting back into the ring after, all this stuff's been going on?
Oh my goodness. It was amazing, but it was so difficult too, because it was super hot out and it was super humid. And we went a really long time. I think we went like 15 minutes, and I was not expecting that. And it was hard, but it was like it made me so happy to be back, because I was like, I missed this so much, and I just wanted to like figure out the next booking I was going to take as soon as possible, because I wanted to do it again with somebody else, or even with Holiday again. Like, she's awesome.
Yeah, that was a really fun match that you both were in. And yeah, I noticed, like, because she has the face paint. It was within minutes. It was like coming off, and just me sitting there watching it, like I was getting hot. I'm thinking like, dang. So you were so you mentioned like the match was longer than you thought. So did you all like get like time limits that they gave you, or did you just kind of wing it?
We had 12 minutes, but we went a little bit longer than we were supposed to, because it's Holiday. So
yeah, I wasn't arguing. I thought it was a very entertaining match. So
Good.
I mean, usually if it's two wrestlers, I like, I'm not going to complain. So one of the things that I've learned about you recently is you actually tried out at the Performance Center for WWE. Tell me about that experience. Like, how did you get that opportunity, and just, how was it actually doing the trying out and all?
Sure. I was hit up by WWE because I had a career profile on their website, and they hit me up to do a tryout. Well, first they gave me a save the date, and then when I told them that I was available those days, they sent me all the confirmation that I needed to get out there. It was like camp. It was so much fun, but it was obviously very difficult, because we had to do a bunch of different things. We had to do mostly just like a ton of cardio, and then we had to do promos, which was always so fun for me. I got to meet a lot of really awesome people who I'm still friends with to this day, and this tryout was like 2 years ago. So I got very lucky, and I had a really good time, and I ended up I still, when they start going back on the road and stuff, I'll be able to keep doing extra work, because I ended up creating a pretty good working relationship with them. And hopefully in the future, you know, when tryouts start up again, I'll be able to go back and like show them how I've progressed since my last tryout.
Yeah, I mean, you know, just because you didn't get it the first time doesn't mean you won't again. Like I know Ember
Yeah.
Moon is a perfect example of someone who tried out
Yeah.
and didn't get it. So, I mean, just the fact that you got the experience, now you know what to expect and what you can do to improve the, you know, be whatever they want you to be kind of thing. I know like they have, you know, what they're looking for and all that. So because I know I saw the movie, you know, about Paige fighting in your family. So that basically what they were doing in that movie, is that very similar? Assuming you've seen the movie, like how the
Yeah.
tryout,
Yeah.
the big
It's similar.
tires and stuff like that. Did
Mhm.
was there really a horn that you could honk if you were like giving up, or is that just part of the movie?
Well, the people that I tried out with were very athletic, so there was nobody gave up. Someone did give up, but they ended up just leaving and not coming back. So, um, which made Mark Henry very angry because he's the one that got him there. Which is so
Oh,
fun. He was talking crap. He was like, I made sure he was here and he just left. You know what I mean? So, no, there was no horn. Not for our people. We were like on top of it. We were just, nobody threw up, nobody quit. So we had a really good group of people.
do you? Is there anyone in that group that's like a part of WWE right now?
Chelsea Green, Robert Stone. Those are the two main ones. They were at
Okay,
that tryout. Yeah.
that's like I remember Robert Zone. I think he was Robbie Z in Impact or something
Yeah,
like that.
Robbie E. Yeah,
Robbie
he
E.
was
Okay.
he was like a Polly D like cosplayer. I don't
Yeah, I
know.
remember briefly catching that. I've been on and off with Impact for years, so I may be
Yeah.
a little rusty with some of the names.
No, I understand.
Um, the next question I have, another thing I learned about you. So you wrestled for Stardom in Japan, and I've heard a lot of good things about that company. Never really watched their promotion because you know it being in Japan and all, like it's not the easiest to access to watch.
Yeah.
Tell me about your experience with them.
It was so much fun. It was very intimidating at first because I was pretty new in the business. I hadn't even had 10 matches in America yet before I was sent over there. I was able to participate in a Ring of Honor Stardom tryout when they started their partnership together. And it ended up being like one of the most fun experiences I've ever had. I miss Japan every single day. I want to go back. We had a lot of downtime there between our shows. So I was able to just explore Japan and check out what it was like and see all the sights and just I was on my own most of the time. I spent most of my time by myself when I wasn't with the girls, doing the shows. So it was so much fun, and I got to wrestle a lot of really amazing wrestlers, and it's an experience I wouldn't trade for the world. It was so much fun.
Yeah, it definitely seems like an experience. Like, how did you manage to get around? Because I know there's obviously a language barrier. Were you very familiar with their language already?
No, not at all. Thank God for Google Translate. When you're like planning matches with the girls there, like wrestling is sort of a universal language. So we were able to like use a lot of sign language with it, like, oh, it's a body slam or like arm wringer, you know what I mean? So we were able to like kind of just talk through it like that, which was a lot of fun. And then when I was out in public, I used Google Translate for everything. A lot of pointing at what you want. And then,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Yes, I'm kind of familiar with that. At my job, I work with a lot of Spanish people, and most of them don't know the language. So we use Google Translate, or they, this hand signals too. Like when they're hungry, they like do the rubbing the belly thing and stuff like that. So I'm familiar with kind of communicating different ways, and also, but yeah, Japan, that's a pretty big deal. Like, and that's an experience I would like to get. I would just be a little intimidated because, like I said, the language thing, like.
Yeah.
It's one thing being here in America and communicating with people that come, but then vice versa, you're the outsider and kind of going to be a little intimidated to do that. But yeah, I mean, I've heard a lot of good things about that promotion. I know a lot of great wrestlers that are in WWE have been through there too. So
Yeah.
it's definitely something I want to get more familiar with. Because I like to grow my knowledge on women's wrestlers. Outside of WWE, AEW. So I'm definitely going to check into that sometime in the near future.
Yeah, you should. It's good stuff.
Next question. What are some of your like future goals in wrestling, especially like life after wrestling?
Oh God. Well, wrestling right now is it's getting back on its feet. So I just want to like have as many bookings as possible and hopefully get somewhere like AEW or MLW or Impact. That's always And there's so many more places to go because it used to just be WWE or bust, but now it's not like that anymore. There's a lot of other places you can go. So I just want to get my name out there even more and get an opportunity with a company like that. And life after wrestling, I'm going back to school for behavioral health and human services. So I'll probably go into social work, work at a behavioral health hospital or something like that. That's something I'm also very passionate about.
Okay, that's pretty cool. I mean, not because I know when it comes to wrestling, you can't do it forever. The toll it
Yeah.
takes in your body, unless trying to do a Ric Flair and wrestle into your 60s, which I don't recommend for anyone.
Nope.
But yeah, like I know some people they still want to stay in the business in some way, like owning a promotion, creative stuff like that. But I mean, that sounds really cool and neat. And it's definitely good while you have the opportunity to go into school. And because I take online courses myself, so I'm trying to do something outside of I do warehouse work, so I kind of want to get out of that myself. Last question. Now, this is a very easy question that I've started to introduce in some of my interviews. So if you hypothetically, WWE signed you and they said, hey, you're going to main event WrestleMania, who would you pick as your opponent? It could be anyone, any promotion.
Chris Statlander.
Chris. Okay. The AEW, the Alien. Okay,
Alien.
yeah. I'm still getting familiar with their roster too. Yeah, I remember seeing her for the first time like shortly before she got hurt. So I haven't gotten too familiar with her, but I've seen I know someone that goes to a lot of indie events, and I've seen pictures of him and her. So I like the character. I'm a UFO nerd and stuff like that. So when I saw her for the first time 2 or 3 months ago, I was like, she seems kind of cool. I feel like I'll like her. But then, like I said, she got hurt, so I haven't really gotten an opportunity to see really much more of her. But,
yeah, I've seen her wrestle tons of times because she's from this area. So, and I never got a chance to wrestle her while she was on the indies. So I kind of missed that opportunity. And if I got it again, I'd be so excited because she's very good. She's very good.
I know some wrestlers in AEW, don't they get some kind of freedom where they can still do some stuff on the indies?
Yeah, I don't think she's interested in doing that though. She did it for so long. I wouldn't be there. And she's hurt right now. So she's got to chill.
Oh, yeah. Hopefully a quick recovery for her.
Yeah.
But yeah, that wraps up all of my questions for you, Gabby.
Okay.
I want to thank you so much for joining us today on O-Face Wrestling. It was, like I mentioned, no problem. But like I mentioned, it was really enjoyable seeing your match versus Holiday at, Goddesses of War. It was a great opportunity for me to discover a lot more women because I went into the event not really knowing who anyone was. So I got the base, if I liked them based off of what they did in the ring and stuff like that. And you are one of the names and, wrestlers that I really liked. And it kind of sucks because Holiday is my favorite, so obviously I was cheering for Holiday. But I really liked you, so that was it was a really fun match. But Gabby, do you want to share any of your social media with all the listeners?
Sure. I'm usually on Twitter and Instagram at GABBITY. That's Gabbity. Again, that's GABBITY, and that's where you can hit me up. And I'm very active on both of those social media platforms. So hit me up.
All right, make sure y'all hit her up, and also make sure you sub us on YouTube, follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. Thank you all for tuning in, and then once more again, thank you so much, Gabby, for joining us today.
Bye. Thanks.